The goal is simple. Destination Williams Arena. Whether it's been Section 5
and the Cougars will be Section 5 champs again,
or Section 7 in girls Class 4A,
they advance to the state tournament.
Centennial has owned section title games as of late while making the barn a familiar spring break destination. But there's a new kid on the block that the Cougars are all too familiar with, looking to shake things up. Blaine brings their stifling defense, hoping to shut the Cougars down for his second straight game. It's the Bengals and the Cougars in a cat clash next, with everything on the line.
Welcome into North Branch High School for the girls Section 7 final in Class 4A. It's a cat clash to go to state as we've got two of our North Metro TV schools going head-to-head. It's Centennial and it's Blaine with a trip to Williams Arena on the line. Alongside Bill Hupp, I'm Matt Dean. We're welcoming you here courtside into North Branch High School. It's going to be the third meeting of the season, Bill, between Centennial and Blaine. Two teams that got here through into the semifinals, the top seed and the 2 seed, making their way through that Section 7 tournament thus far.
Yeah, all chalk, as you can see right here. But they got there in very different ways. Centennial with a pretty comfortable win over Andover. They shot the ball extremely well, hit 12 threes in the victory over the Huskies. Meanwhile, Blaine, it was more of a slog, and they finally overcame Anoka, pulling it out at the end. But they didn't shoot the ball very well. Their defense is ultimately what led the way to the victory and a date in the section final.
And after Centennial won 61-53 in the first meeting in early January, Blaine really flipped the script last time, holding the Cougars' bill to a season-low 31 points with their stifling defense that have been the Bengals' calling card all year.
Yeah, no question about it. They averaged 14.5 turnovers a game, and it was the 2-3 defense that really stifled Centennial in the last matchup. As you can see there, held them to a season-low 31 on February 17th. But don't think Centennial hasn't made adjustments since that time.
No, certainly more of an uncharacteristic game for the Cougars, who in that matchup were held without a point for 10 minutes and 15 seconds into the second half. But Bill, you saw the Cougars get back on track, particularly from deep with the shot from 3 in their semifinal win.
Yeah, three-point shooting is such a key for this Centennial team. And they got it going against Anoka, or against Andover, I should say, early and often. As we said, 12 three-pointers. Jordan Metz with 3 threes off the bench. They averaged nearly 60 points a game, one of the top scoring offenses in Class 4A. And with Marissa Frost and company leading the way, their offensive shooting and how well they shoot the basketball here tonight may be the key if they hope to win their 4th section title in a row.
Let's key in on a couple of players to watch for on each of these two respective teams. For the Blaine Bengals, you got to start, Bill, talking about Molly Garber, their leading scorer, who recently eclipsed 1,000 points for the Bengals in her career.
Yeah, she's really a team leader. Molly Garber and Mara Holly both play pivotal roles in this offense. They run their offense through them at the free throw line, and Molly Garber has the confident handle. She can handle the basketball well. She can create her own shot. Mara Holly can do that as well, as you see double figures 11 times this season. They're going to need both, or at least one, to go off tonight to have a shot at winning the section title.
Garber leading the Bengals in scoring with 17 a game this year, and Holly, as we mentioned, very talented 10th grader, a chance to be that second scoring option. For the Cougars, it's all about Marissa Frost, who had another big game on Saturday to complement some shots from deep from Jordan Metz.
Yeah, Marissa Frost, the NDSU commit, the leader of this team, 20 points or more 7 times this season, including in the semifinal win over Andover. Meanwhile, Jordan Metz, she came off the bench in the semifinal win. She's getting the start tonight, and she earned it with 11 points off the bench. and some real pivotal shooting from deep in that semifinal win.
All right, we are ready to sink our teeth into this matchup. A trip to state on the line. Centennial and Blaine. It's coming up, a cat clash to go to the barn. Coming up next on North Metro TV.
North Metro TV News is your source for local stories. Highlighting the issues in your community, we bring you the news that's closer to home. Join us as we explore the stories all around us, every day at 2:30, 6:30, and 10:30.
Back inside North Branch High School, we are just about set for the opening jump in this one. Top-seeded Centennial taking on Blaine. It's a cat clash rematch between a couple of teams that split a pair of regular season meetings. What a moment for Chris Bruce-Stewin, the ninth-year head coach who had taken the Bengals to section semifinal appearances in 2 of the last 3. The Bengals back in their first section final in 8 years. Jamie Sabalik is the head coach on the other side. He has been a coach at Centennial for a long time, his 4th as the head man, but a long-time former assistant coach in the program. Happy to see the Cougars right back where they're used to being, playing in their 5th straight section final. Starters for both teams you see on your screen, Frost and Garber, the respective leading scorers, as we send it down to the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, Blythe Whaley, courtside here tonight at North Branch.
Matt, able to talk with both coaches here before tip-off, and Coach Bruce-Stewin of the Bengals told me that the biggest thing they learned off of those previous 2 matchups between these teams is they need to make sure they limit those second chance opportunities for the Cougars. That's how they were able to beat them in that first matchup, so they know if they can keep them off the boards, make sure they're getting those 50-50 chances when the ball is out, that will help them through the stretch. But they're in their stride. They've won the last 6, and they feel their defensive effort has really been a huge part of this. So no game is bigger than us is what their team has been talking about over and over. Control what they can control, and that's gonna help them through this section final. And Coach Soblik of the Centennial Cougars told me that they really just wanna use their experience. That's the biggest thing for them, is using their experience in the semifinal to learn really from what happened in that second matchup between the Bengals. When you think about the Bengals, what they did to them is they held them. They played that defensive effort, and they want to make sure, hey, was that an off shooting night for them, or was that a Bengal defensive game that really threw them off theirs? So how can they make sure they come out tonight giving it their all here in the section final, but use what they've done in the past how many years that's pushed them through to that state tournament?
Yeah, really good stuff. Thanks, Blythe. And we mentioned it, that experience bill for the Cougars that Blythe was talking about. They've been in this moment. They are looking to make their 3rd trip to Williams Arena in the girls basketball state tournament. Their 5th year in a row playing in a section final. As you talk about managing emotions, that is huge, that resume that Jamie Sabalik and the Cougars bring. Get back to that in a moment as the opening tip is won by Autumn McCall, and we're underway. The Cougars back at North Branch High School, and their leading scorer, Marissa Frost, takes it right to the tin for 2 to open us up.
Quick start for Centennial, and I think if you're the Cougars, you really want to get off to a fast start and put Blaine under pressure, make it that much more difficult, almost try to break their spirit in the early going.
Mara Holly trying to launch from 3, misses the target for Blaine on the other end. 2-0 Cougars here to start the night for Centennial, as that's dished off by Littlefield, opening it up for Jordan Metz. Maybe an X factor for Centennial, Bill. They didn't have her in that last matchup when Blaine, their defense, held the Cougars to a season low in scoring with just 31 points. And Centennial now have the basketball after a turnover from Blaine on a lift.
Dream start for Centennial, 2 trips, 2 field goals, and they've already forced a turnover and a bad missed shot.
So here come the Cougars back up the floor. They rotated around with a talented sophomore, Autumn McCall, who plays distributor, finding Emma Walsh under the basket. The 5'9" senior averages 7 a game. 3 different Cougars have scored buckets on this 6-0 run to begin the night.
I thought Chris Bruce-Stewin, the head coach for Blaine, might take a timeout as we have a foul on the floor here. He might take a timeout after that 6-0 run, just try to stem the momentum a little bit.
but he lets him play on.
Goes against Emma Walsh, that infraction, as she fouled Sadie Dominic, 22 on 24. That's Dominic as the trigger on the side-out play for Blaine now. 6-0 run for the Cougars to start the night. Holly goes crashing into some red shirts and coughs it up for the Bengals. Couple of early turnovers as Blaine had been a bit shaky. Here a runner under the basket. Emma Walsh with her second bucket. Timeout from Chris Bruce-Stewin, and there's the step aside coming from the Bengals.
I mean, like I said, Blaine, a disastrous start. They're 0 for 2 from the field. They've turned it over twice. Centennial, meanwhile, is 4 for 4 from the field themselves. And like I said, this is exactly the kind of start that they wanted to get out to.
Third meeting of the season between these two rivals. We mentioned it in our open. Centennial took the first matchup 61-53. And again, that experience coming through. Emma Walsh isn't a huge scorer for Centennial necessarily on the season, but a senior with a cool head, and she has got 2 buckets in the early goings for the Cougars.
The other thing, Matt, is all 4 field goals have been right at the rim. They've all been layups. So it's not like Centennial settling for jump shots. They're attacking, they're being aggressive offensively, and this is as good a start, as I said, as they could have asked for.
Blaine came out and played that impressive 2-3 zone in the last matchup. Really shut down Centennial, who were held to just 16 in the first half there. An air ball from Dominic might have been tipped on its way up toward the basket. Here comes the Cougars pushing the other way. Kick out from Littlefield. They'll work it around to Walsh. Molly Garber with some active hands. We might be saying that a lot. Some active paws from the Bengals, who average over 10 steals per game. Here's a look at that shot from Dominic, and as we said, partially blocked, as reaching in there was Emma Walsh with a good defense for Centennial.
Yeah, good contest by Walsh. Metz was in there as well.
Oh, Marissa Frost, nothing but nylon. A pretty stroke for 3, and that's got to be big for the Cougars to see the ball go through the hoop early. They were limited to less than 5 3-pointers in the last matchup from Blaine, a Centennial team who averaged 6 made threes a game. They attempt nearly 20 and shoot 31% as a unit. Going to be a foul here. Stop and play briefly with 15:45 left to play. And 32 gets the foul.
This is a similar start to last year when they overwhelmed Andover, ran away with it, and never looked back in a blowout win. So Centennial just doing what it does in a section final.
Danielle Davis with the try from beyond the arc, too strong. 11-0 Centennial run. Bengals went on a double-digit run when Centennial were held without a point for over 10 minutes to open the second half, and they are feeling it in the section final early. How about Macy Littlefield launching from 3, a 9.5 per game score. The 5'8 seniors on the score sheet, and a dream start for Centennial continues. A steal by Marissa Frost. She's fouled after the takeaway. That's going to go against Blaine and be an inbounds play. Marissa Frost, terrific player who can fill up the stat sheet in a lot of ways. She averages 3 steals a game, along with nearly 16 points, 3 rebounds per, and 2.5 assists. What a player.
3-minute scoring drought and counting for Blaine to start. And first mistake of Centennial's night, really, on that errant pass. But the Cougars dialing up the pressure defensively, and clearly Blaine dealing with a big case of nerves right now.
They have only attempted 3 shots. All of them have been from beyond the arc. And a couple of early turnovers showing some of those nerves. Here is Sadie Dominic, holds it for the Bengals.
Look at the defense by Frost, denying the ball for Garber.
Step back 3 from Dominic off the line. And again, Blaine, thinking about a first half adjustment here. They need to start finding a way to get to the rack. They are launching from 3, 0 for 4 now from distance as a team to start the night.
Sadie Dominic continuing her offensive struggles that started in the section semi.
Cougars cough it up. Bengals force another takeaway, and they'll work it up on quickly in transition. Mara Holly, right as we say that, where do they find the points? Right under the bucket from the 5'10 sophomore.
And that's what they need to do. They need to turn their defense into offense and get out and run. That's where they're going to have most success.
That one's thrown up by Frost. A little bit of contact there. Centennial fans wanted a foul as Holly stays with it on the floor. Davis launches from 3 off the line. Nice rebound to save the play under the basket by Littlefield. And the Cougars have it with Frost, the NDSU commit, pushing.
Blaine wants to speed the pace up, and they've managed to do that the last couple possessions.
Walsh with the missed shot, rebounded by Molly Garber, who leads the Bengals in just about every category. She spins to the basket. You talk about defense to offense, a rebound and a coast-to-coast layup from the 1,000-point Bengals score.
Now they're picking up full court. That's a big call right there, though, Matt, because Mara Holly, I think, just picked up her second. And she is the head of that full court press. But the made basket allowed Blaine to pick up the full court. And after Centennial started the game on a 14-0 run, Blaine has gone a little 4-0 spurt themselves, trying to get back into this one.
Now you mentioned the front lead of that full court press, and how about one of the key pieces in the 2-3 zone? Holly, so much length at one of those top positions defensively. Really important for what the Bengals are able to do on this end of the floor right now with the 2 fouls. So Holly is off. They'll play with a little bit less size on the floor. Annika Schloman came in, nearly turned over by Centennial, but they keep it with Katie Anderson. Anderson on to Walsh, swing it around. Frost with a long look from the left wing, rolls in and out of the hand of Frost. A 34% three-point shooter. Her make earlier in this game, her 48th made 3 of the season, leads the Cougars. Dominic has it up top for the Bengals now. Thought about the 3. Steps aside left wing, harassed by Walsh. Good defense. Bengals swing it around, but a step and a walk with the basketball by Madison Bryant, who turns it over for the Bengals.
Already the fourth turnover of the half on Blaine. And a great job by Marissa Frost to deny that entry pass into the free throw lane to Molly Garber. They wanted to go to Garber right there.
Nice job to break the press that time by the Cougars. They set it up with Frost on the right wing, swung around to Anderson. Tries to get the post touch inside. Frost will bring it back around the perimeter. Played nearly 6 minutes into the opening half. Girls Section 7 4A final to go to the state tournament. Winner of this will play Wednesday at Williams Arena next week in Minneapolis. Kicked ball by Garber. Going to stay on the Centennial end. Cougars are used to being here. 5th straight appearance in a section final. Last year was a return to the Cougars of Section 7. And so Blaine and Centennial matching up, 2 border rivals facing off with a trip to state on the line. Glad you'd be here with us on North Metro TV. Matt Dean alongside Bill Hupp, Blythe Whaley, our sideline reporter. You're in a great crew from North Metro TV. Jordan Metz with the try from 3, rebounded by Bryant and the Bengals. Bryant brings it up and finds Schloman. Touch in the high post by Garber. Yep, Garber is reached in and fouled. I think they're going to get
Metz.
Yeah, Metz for it. And for Jordan Metz, that will be her second.
But you can clearly see as Garber gets replaced by Davis, you can clearly see, Matt, that's part of the strategy for Centennial. They want to double Garber in the post, and then Metz comes over. I don't think she needed to reach there. They had her covered, and she had picked up her dribble.
See if that personal foul comes into play a bit later. Schloman passes up the 3, gets into the high post to Davis, and Blaine trying to flash some runners to the elbow. Dominic is blocked on her way to the basket. They'll call a jump ball and a tie-up that will stay with Blaine for now. McCall reached in and forced it there for the Bengals.
Autumn McCall, you talked to Coach Sobolik, and McCall has a chance to be a 1,000 player by the time she's done. Really talented sophomore for this Cougars team.
Right now, she would be on pace, Coach Sobolik told us, if she keeps it up, stays healthy, to be the all-time career rebounder in a Cougar uniform in the program history. Here's Schloman launching too strong on the 3-point attempt. Rebounded once more by Littlefield and Centennial.
Blaine struggled from the field from 3-point against Anoka, and they're struggling here tonight. 0 for 5 now, I think, from 3.
Neither team were at, I would say, the top of their game, Bill. You were here at North Branch in the section semifinals. A block on the perimeter, and it's kept in here by the Cougars. Abby Pelkey came up with that stuff from beyond the arc. In particular, Blaine shot really poor, inside 30%, but played some great defense in advance pass. Anoka 38-30. It was a 69-58 win as the top-seeded Cougars hung on against Andover on the other side of the bracket. Top two seeds meeting in the section final. A walk and a travel on Dominic.
Fifth Blaine turnover of the half, and we just saw Centennial commit its third turnover. Blaine starting to dial up the defensive pressure, but they've got to get Sadie Dominic going. She's struggled offensively here in the last couple games after having 18 in the section quarterfinal.
Dominic with 44 made threes leads the Bengals in that category, and Garber's a great scorer, but she does a lot of her work at the rim, little mid-range. You need to space the floor for Garber to open up those driving lanes.
Good ball movement here for the Cougars. Not a lot of extra dribbles or needless movement.
Anderson with it on the right wing, pitches it out. They find Frost, the favorite target to launch from three for the Cougars. Good rebound and a putback to finish for KJ Tharp, the senior 6-footer, an occasional starter and one of the first two off the bench for Jamie Sabalik tonight. They find Garber flashing to the rim, can't finish on the run. Offensive rebound, however, pulled down by Pelkey. Garber will try from three. I think Garber heard what I said about her being a finisher at the rim. She can hit it from downtown too. The first three for number 23.
Credit Annika Schloman for getting the offensive rebound, keeping that play alive, and then finding Garber with the kick out.
I'll tell you what, Abby Pelkey is playing some good defense out there, especially in the absence of Mara Holly, who is one of the top defenders for Blaine right now, sitting on the bench with 2 fouls. A lot of deflections. She had a block a couple of possessions back and hanging tough down low against McCall. She tries to deny the post entry. McCall faces up Pelkey, who blocked it clean, I think, on the way up to the basket from a great player in McCall.
Yep, straight up and down for Pelkey, and that's why the whistle didn't blow.
On to Madison Bryant now on the Bengal end. Bryant, a captain on the Blaine softball team. Oh, nice jump stop on her way to the rim. Really good look, couldn't finish. She's also a distance runner who is committed to run cross country Division II scholarship to Concordia St. Paul. So don't look for Bryant to be hands on her knees looking over the bench to sub. There is a three from Katie Anderson, who cashes in from distance for the Cougars.
Yeah, Bryant, if she gets on base, she's a prototypical leadoff hitter. If she gets on base, she is swiping that base.
Oh, great dive on the floor by Marissa Frost. That's 2 top players going at it for a loose ball. Frost got it. Sabalik called a timeout. And these two teams with a lot of emotion in this section final. What are you hearing over on the benches, Blythe?
Yeah, Matt, Coach Brewstuen was saying on that first timeout that the playoff tempo is a lot different, making sure his ladies make those adjustments. And it seems like we have seen that from the Bengals, now getting on the board after that 14-0 start by the Cougars. So they've started to pick things up, but they've also limited those opportunities for the Cougars here as of late.
Cougars started out the game in an 11-0 run as Blaine came out a little bit flat, but some of that messaging getting through from Chris Brewstuen. Really, since that first time out, Bill, it feels like Blaine have really settled into this game. And although the deficit at 19-7, very much back into this game after a sluggish start.
Yeah, and he's doing an excellent job. And the playoff tempo is different. The further along you get, the more tense the atmosphere is, the bigger the stakes. And so he knows his team needs to adjust, and they can channel some of that energy into improved defensive effort. And we've really seen that since that initial 14-0 run. Blaine has held serve at 7-5 since that time.
Turnover forced by the Bengals. Another steal as Dominic will peel back, wait off here in the right wing. 8 minutes to go. Dominic will try. Air ball in the 3, out of bounds. Pelkey fighting for it, but that is going to go out of bounds and be Cougar basketball. Sadie Dominic, the leading 3-point maker for the Bengals. She's 0 for 4 from the floor, including 3 misses from deep.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Blaine has really just struggled from beyond the arc, and they need those threes to go down. I think, to keep pace with Centennial throughout this game.
Dominic with a quick closeout of Marissa Frost. She'll take it downhill, try to pitch it up, somehow batted back by Walsh. McCall will try from 3, swirls in and out. Anderson with the rebound underneath the basket, keeps it alive for Centennial. Threw it away to Dominic, who stepped out on the baseline. This is going to stay on the Cougar end of the floor.
I think that would count as a turnover both ways, as Dominic just ripped it away. Great strength by her, and then Centennial sort of forces her to step on the end line, so they get it back ultimately anyway.
Bill Hupp, you're the official statistician tonight, so whatever you say goes. Turnover apiece, lock it in.
6 and 5 now. Turnovers. Blaine with just one more now instead of ahead of Centennial.
Well, we say that, but not to take anything away from Alex Battles in the truck, our real official statistician today.
Fair enough.
Here's that one is laid up, and a big bucket for KJ Tharp for Centennial. Whatever Battles says goes, Bill, but you're second in command.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to win that battle, so 14-point lead matches the largest lead of the game for Centennial.
Here's Molly Garber, has it, peeling back out, a little handoff exchange with Davis. Garber getting the basket, downhill, spins, turns, can't finish. Ooh. Great defense from McCall. Those two hit the deck hard, and Garber's still slow to get up as Centennial throws up a shot on the other end. Garber is still down on the floor. She crashed the side of her head down onto the court. Chris Bruce Stewin looking on with concern as his top player and top scorer right now shaken up on the floor.
Yeah, she got tangled. Her arms got tangled with her opponent, and she went down hard. And that is one tough cookie, is Molly Garber. As you see here, battling for the offensive rebound. And I think the ball hit off her face as we see the replay here. Or no, maybe the elbow, because her face didn't end up hitting. It's the elbow of McCall that hit her on the side of the face. So she's out being tended to, and you know that if she got hit, she's got the mouth guard, but that can't have felt good as you see her on the sideline grimacing a little.
See what Blaine can do without their top scorer on the floor, Mara Holly, trying to get it going to the drive to the basket, and they'll say a foul on the floor going against Emma Walsh, and this should send Holly to the free throw line with the second going against number 22 for Centennial. Maybe a chance for Holly to really have a big breakout game. She's shown some flashes of being a terrific player in the future for the Bengals. Young, but already the makings of a true 3-level scorer. As again, we're taking a look at Garber, who is off on the bench right now after taking that shot on the elbow from McCall, unintentionally it looked like, from her Centennial opponent, we should say, as Holly will go 1 for 2 in that trip to the line, 64% foul shooter. So opportunity for Holly to step up here, but now she'll hit the bench and more of the second unit come on to try to stem the tide here for Blaine. That's going to be a turnover on a travel by Walsh, handed it right back to Blaine.
Yeah, and Garber continuing to nurse that. Definitely looked unintentional. And this is what the pressure, the full court pressure, does to teams. Speeds them up, forces turnovers, and so it's working just as Blaine hoped it would. They get the ball back with a chance to cut into this lead, but they got to start hitting some shots.
So the Blaine Bengals go with a little bit of a bigger lineup. A couple of 5'10 players, Davis and Pelkey, 50 and 14 on the floor together. It is Bryant and Schloman and Dominic out there. Here's Schloman trying from deep, left it a little bit short on the front iron, rebounded by the Cougars and Katie Anderson. Littlefield to the kick out. Anderson tries from distance. That is short on the 3. And a foul underneath. Gonna hand the rock back.
Matt, the last one, they actually called on 10, Anderson. Walsh just picked up her second. The previous foul we thought was on 22. It sure looked like it would have been. Was actually called on 10, Katie Anderson. So for Walsh, fortunately for Centennial, that's just her second, not her third, as we might have suspected. But again, Anila's foul after the offensive rebound just kind of reached in and swiped it.
Here's Dominic, top of the key, pulls up, silky little fadeaway. The stop stop and start. That's the blow by. You get going downhill, you stop, you let the defender fly by, and Dominic getting it going inside the arc for her first basket.
I love to see that, Matt. Your shot's not falling, attack, and get in the lane, hit those runners, hit those layups, and stop settling for threes.
Both these teams fell a little bit into that trap in the last matchup, played in February. Here's a runner under the basket, missed by Anderson. Blaine controls as Garber is back in that last stoppage after going out hard with the injury.
So tough, and you know in her senior season, she's not going to go out to no bruise. She is going to make sure she stays in and tries to will her team to the state playoffs.
So you got Garber back on the floor with Bryant, Dominic, Davis, and Schloman, who nearly had it pickpocketed away by Anderson. Schloman will take it back into the front court, skip it along to Bryant, driving baseline. Bryant has it knocked out of bounds. No foul there, but an inbounds play here coming up for the Bengals. We got an injury report on the sideline from Blythe Whaley.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, seeing the training staff attending to Garber, taking a look at her jaw. I'm sure you guys saw it in the replay, but her jaw, just trying to make sure she has some motion, some range of motion in that. But giving the thumbs up to coach to let her go back in as you see her out on the court. I'm sure she'll be feeling that tomorrow.
She's not feeling it tonight. The adrenaline going here in the section final. Thanks, Blythe, as Macy Littlefield tries from three off the side of the backboard. Oh, there's Garber, looking like her old self, shaking off that jaw injury and earned a trip to the line for the Bengals.
That's what Blaine needs to do, attack the rim. Remember their first 5 or 6 shots, they were all from deep. They were all settling, and they weren't attacking. They were being a little tentative. It's like they woke up once they got down 14-0 and decided to start playing. And ever since, we've had a very even back and forth game.
Garber is 63% free throw shooter at the line here for the Bengals. As a team, they shoot just over 60% as a unit. Garber goes 2 for 2, 7 points, leads all scorers in this contest for either team. A Division III commit is Garber to UW Stout. She'll be playing for the Blue Devils just over the way in Menominee, Wisconsin next year. Inbound here coming for Emma Walsh just ahead of that Blaine bench. Here's McCall on the high post trying to find Metz, tipped on its way through. Skip back out to the foul line. McCall on that little pump fake walked with it and turns it over for Centennial.
Well, Blaine may have committed the first 3 turnovers of the game, but Centennial now has 7, including several travels. So Centennial may be feeling a little tighter as this half goes along after getting out to that 14-0 lead to start.
Here's Dominic driving, switches right hand, little teardrop shot, no good. Strong rebound by Jordan Metz, brings it down for the Cougars. Oh, nice little backdoor cut to find Frost, kicks out Metz, corner 3, too strong. Rebound pulled down by Bryant.
We've got a kicked ball, so it's going to be long to Blaine, even though Littlefield can't believe it. One thing about Metz is, think about it, she's a soccer goalie, so those hands are going to be good. Anytime you whip a pass to her, she's going to be able to catch it and do something with it.
Probably could play out on the soccer pitch without the gloves, but she elects to use them. And Metz, a possible X factor. She was one of the players we keyed in on in the open as the Bengals turned it over again. She was missing the last matchup in February against Centennial because she was at a soccer tournament where she was playing very talented goalie that went to state with the Cougars this past fall. That one thrown away by Littlefield and the Cougars, who turn it over, immediately taken right back by Frost as she steps into the lane. And a whistle here, stop and play with 2:36 to go in the first half.
And I think Davis got her foot stepped on, so we'll have to see if she's okay, able to stay in the game. Each team now with 8 turnovers in the first half.
The trigger is Walsh underneath, finds McCall. Backing down, a kick out. Walsh will try way off on the 3. And here comes Blaine, dinking it up to Dominic. Easy runner in transition, and nothing else has really come that easy tonight for the Bengals.
What a leak out by Sadie Dominic. She just saw the hit ahead, and they force another turnover.
Schloman with the steal. Bryant with the finish at the rim. First bucket for Madison Bryant. That puts the pressure on the Cougars, and Jamie Sabalik calls timeout for Centennial.
The lead down to 5 after it was once 14. And Centennial playing uncharacteristically tight here late in the first half, but it's the defense, like we talked about in the open, that has led to points and has spurred this Blaine comeback.
A Blaine team that, if they get to the state tournament, they're probably going to cross 400 steals as a team on the season. They average nearly 14 a game as a unit, including 7 different players who average at least a takeaway per game or better. And guess who leads them in that category? Molly Garber with over 3.5 per game, and she had 100 steals on the season coming into play tonight. I mean, you talk about a defense. They really do a little bit of everything. Keep everything in front. They shut down this potent Centennial offense in the last matchup, and they get the takeaways to go along with it, a dangerous combination.
Yeah, Garber, you see that 17 a game, 6 rebounds a game, 2.7 assists, nearly 4 steals. She really does it all for this Blaine team, not to mention her outstanding leadership, which we know she provides for the Bengals as well.
Yeah, Garber with that jaw injury. We're glad the range of motion is still active out there so she can spur along her teammates with her voice. But
just maybe wait on having steak anytime soon.
No doubt about it. Up ahead to McCall. Full court pressure still coming for the Bengals. Good at mixing up their defensive looks occasionally as well. Littlefield into the high post with McCall now. McCall so shifty on her way to the basket. Good defense by Davis to keep her in front.
She looked so uncertain there. She's not normally, she's more decisive normally, but in the lane she was trapped and she looked very indecisive about what she wanted to do next.
McCall still without a bucket. She's 0 for 3 from the floor. Here is Schloman trying from distance. No dice that time. Cougars get it up. McCall will try from 3, too strong. Her drought continues, a rebound to Garber.
Yeah, maybe settling for that 3 and maybe rushing their offense instead of waiting for the right shot.
Garber steps back a little bit short on the 3. Metz fighting for a rebound. How about that effort from Madison Bryant? She's just a terrific athlete. We talked about it, captain of the softball team, distance runner. By the way, she's going to be splitting her time playing softball and running distance track this spring to get ready for her college season next year as senior. And she was battling with a size disadvantage against Metz, 5'6" versus 5'10" there.
Yeah, definitely one of the smallest players on the court, but anytime she's out there, she also is one of the more tenacious ones.
Here's Littlefield, second leading scorer for the Cougars, averages 9.5 a game. Good ball movement to get it in the post. Anderson draws the contact, can't finish, but Katie Anderson, a 5'8" senior guard, earns a trip to the line here for Centennial.
Sadie Dominic picking up her first personal foul. Foul's not really a factor in this half, Matt. Just 3 now on the Bengals as a team and only 6 on the Cougars.
Both teams shoot a little above 60% as a team from the foul line. The Cougars at 63% as a team. A little bit of an edge. Anderson 0 for 2 on that trip. Garber fighting for the rebound with McCall, who backed off to avoid the foul and cede it to Garber. Here's Dominic spinning inside. She's blocked by Walsh.
Walsh has had several blocks in this first half on Dominic, at least a couple that I can remember.
Not the biggest player, 5'9", a senior guard, but yeah, she's been active on that end of the floor. Dominic will try from the corner. She's off the line on the 3. Good battle as Frost pulls down the rebound for Centennial.
Frost got a late layup in the section semi to end the half.
Oh, Littlefield, the trailer, had a great look, and Garber battles underneath a whistle and a foul. Going to go against the Bengals, and Garber will pick up her first there.
Garber continues to get in like arm battles, get, locked up with players like Walsh and McCall, and this time Katie Anderson, who gets whistled for the foul, I think correctly. And so the 1-and-1 opportunity now for Molly Garber and the Bengals, and a chance to get this lead even closer.
And second on Anderson, so Garber misses the front end of the 1-and-1. She did not get the foul there. And 5 seconds left to go. Man, this first half has flown by as Frost has it just off the top of the wheel. She'll launch from 3. That one comes up short. It'll take us to halftime with Centennial buoyed by an 11-0 run to start the night. They lead at 21-16 on rivals Blaine. 18 minutes left to go, and we'll have a ticket punched to the barn next week in Minneapolis here on North Metro TV. The first section final meeting between Blaine and Centennial in 19 years. It has lived up to the billing as it is the Cougars hanging on in front 21-16 here just before the start of the second half. Take a look at some of those highlights. It was all Centennial coming out of the opening jump, Bill, as the Cougars went on a 14-0 run to start this one.
Yeah, they got out to a dream start. They were forcing turnovers. They were making threes, and they threatened to run away with this one early. But credit to Blaine. They showed a lot of heart and a lot of character, and they did it starting on the defensive end.
And that defense turning into offense after that 14-0 run, Bill, it was 16-7 Bengals the rest of the way. So if Chris Bruce-Stewin can go into the half and snapshot the way the Bengals played, getting points from 4 of their 5 starters and outscoring Centennial down the stretch, they were playing much better basketball going to the locker room than just at the start of the game.
Much better. They forced 9 Centennial turnovers, and like you said, they outscored them 16-7 once they withstood that 14-0 run. But Centennial, you know, they got out to that fast start, and they were able to hang on to it and take the lead into halftime.
Both coaches looking to tinker and make some halftime adjustments. We'll send it down to the third member of our broadcast crew. Blythe, what did you hear from these two coaches at the half?
I talked with both coaches, and I asked them heading into halftime, what do they like about the first half, and what do they want to make sure they did differently here in the second? Coach Bruce-Stewin told me he liked, of course, when his team was able to wake up and adjust to the tempo of playoff basketball. But really, it's going to come down to the scrappy team. Who is going to make sure that they are getting those second rebounds, those second chance points that they can put up on the board? And Centennial, Coach Sobolik, he said for his team, of course he liked that start, getting out of the gates 14-0, that felt pretty good. But really there's some ladies on his team that need to pick up their aggressive play here in the second half. And also, you think about defensively, he said they were doing all right. If they can continue what they're doing in that first half with their defense, they feel the biggest thing is taking on Garber and how can they hold her and keep her out of the lane.
Thanks, Blythe. Brought to you for North Metro TV in high definition on the big board here at North Branch High School for that halftime report. The story of the half, the Cougars, they are a storied program looking for their 3rd straight trip to state, and they don't lose a lot of games. In fact, any this year when they've got a lead at the half.
And Blaine doesn't win many when they're trailing at half, so we'll see if those trends continue or if Blaine can reverse the trend at the perfect time of the season for them.
Last time the Bengals overcame a halftime deficit to win, it was a 2-point edge for Cambridge Isani in the season opener to open up the girls' basketball season way back when in December. Ranging inside was Mara Holly. It looked like maybe a tie-up. They'll say that Holly walked with it first, and the Bengals, after turning it over 8 times in the first half, cough it up here in their first possession of the second.
Centennial looking to get off to another quick start in a half. But just a pair of turnovers start things for each team.
Centennial turned it over 9 times in the first half. That's their 10th. These two teams, neither shot the lights out in the first half. Centennial 9 of 25 on 36% shooting. The Bengals 6 of 24 at 25% as the Bengals try from 3. Mara Holly no good. Centennial made 3 threes. Blaine just 1. The Cougs were 3 of 12. The Bengals 1 of 12. That was 3 of 15 for Centennial, 1 of 12 for Blaine from beyond the arc in the first half. Here's Metz trying from deep. Up here, stroke from the junior guard.
Well, Jordan Metz, if she can give them some three-point shooting, that's going to help them go a long way to advancing to another state tournament.
She is their most effective three-point shooter by percentage this year. Runner up at the rim the other way, and there's Mara Holly waiting for the sophomore to heat up. She had just 3 points on 1 of 2 shooting in the first half. Garber a steal. She takes it away, runs the floor, lays it up, a miss. Garber finds it between her legs, able to dish it off to Holly, who is charged with an offensive foul to turn it over for Blaine.
That's a tough call because not only is it Holly's 3rd foul, but a great job by Garber reading the passing lanes. You can see why she averages nearly 4 steals a game, and then just throwing off a little bit on that play. And I thought that one ref had indicated that, but Holly ultimately was the one who drew the foul, and so she's at the free throw line after we thought that she had committed. So Holly still has 2 fouls, and she's able to hit 1 of 2 from the free throw line. That was strange.
So Holly able to go 1 for 2 in that trip to the line and hit 6. They gave the foul to Littlefield for Centennial, her first. McCall with a kick out from the high post. That is Emma Walsh trying to line one up from 3. She is now 0 for 3 from deep for Centennial in this game. Here, drive by Garber. Oh, just a silky smooth spin and goes around a great player in Marissa Frost. We talked about the offensive accolades for Frost. She's also one of the best guard defenders in the state, and Garber just spun right around a great player. Metz with an immediate answer in transition for Centennial, who break the full court pressure. Here's Bryant, who gets a feed, finishes the hoop and the harm.
Maddie Bryant leaking out ahead, and what a find by Garber. Touch perfect pass right to Maddie Bryant, who lays it in, draws the foul, and we have had barely a moment to catch our breath here in the second half, man. It's been end to end.
The super athlete Maddie Bryant headed to the line. Both teams getting up and running up and down the floor. We will see if teams adjust and maybe elect to dial back that full court pressure, because both teams have really been breaking it nicely these last couple of minutes. Out of bounds last off of the Cougars.
Well, and it's pretty amazing when you consider we had 37 points total in that first half. And in the second half, we've already gotten 12 just a couple minutes in.
Centennial have been in front the entire night. Ran out to a 14-0 lead to open the game. But as we talked about, Blaine closed the first half on a 16-7 run. Garber, high, arcing 3 to get it over Metz. Might have tried to adjust a little bit too much. Fight under the basket. And another foul here, going to keep it on the Blaine end.
It's interesting, Centennial fans hate that call because they're saying the ball just touched their girl's foot, that no one actually kicked it. And Tharp, did have it against her ankle, and I think that's what they call. But this is the, this 3-point lead. It was once as large as 14 at 16-2, and Blaine has just slowly but surely chipped away, had it within 5 a couple times, and now have it within 3 here early in the second half.
Holly, Davis, Garber, Dominic, and Bryant out on the floor as Holly tries on the floater. And now the Cougars take it up offensively, led by Frost. Frost with the teardrop shot, gets it to drop for 2. Centennial really hurrying up the pace and taking their shots quickly inside the lane.
I was just about to say, they need Marissa Frost to get going offensively. Just 5 points in that first half, and she hasn't even really looked for her shot as the Cougars force another turnover.
Walsh forced the steal, jump in the passing lane. Frost finds Littlefield. They'll play catch just off the right wing. Now from Metz back up top here with Frost. Metz tries from distance. No good that time after she'd knocked down her last attempt from downtown. That is going to be batted out by the Bengals, and an offensive board here for Centennial keeps it alive on their end. Cougars will take a timeout here, leading 28-23 in an advantage that was as high as 14 after that early run to begin the game. It is the first section final meeting here tonight between Blaine and Centennial in 19 seasons. Going back to 2004 when the Cougars topped the Bengals, who at the time were the 5th-ranked team in the state. Jamie Sabalik was there back at the time in assistant under the former head coach for Centennial at the time, Jill Becken. Katie DeWitt in that game led the Cougars with 21 points, had a huge third quarter. Oh yeah, back then when they did quarters in high school basketball. And these two teams facing off for the first time since. The Cougars, with their recent history of success, starting out in Section 5, going back to Section 7 last year. This is their 5th straight year playing in a section final and coming off back-to-back trips to state. Here's Frost, airballs the 3 out of the timeout. Ted LaRue was digging around in the file cabinets in the North Metro TV archives, but we could not dig up the footage of that 2004 game. But this is a great rivalry history going back a long time, and fun to have these two teams again facing off in the same section to go to state, as we'll see Garber get charged with a foul there for Blaine.
I think refs love calling the charge call. That to me was not a charge at all. She almost just fell back, just sort of leaned back into that call. So I think Garber picking up her first, that was a tough call as she tried to split the double team there out near midcourt.
It is more fun to make the charge motion than the block, to be fair.
No question about it.
There's Wall slid on the rim as she tried to lay it in. Bengals push it up. Dominic steps back. She misses on the 3. Davis runs down the air ball.
Tharp whistled for the personal.
Yeah, off the ball foul. Again, the well drying up from distance for Sadie Dominic. Good effort there by Davis to chase down the miss.
And Davis still kind of limping on that ankle. She grabbed the rebound there, and Tharp, as she tried to save it in, Tharp shoved her out of bounds. So 3rd team foul already on Centennial here with just under 14 minutes to go.
We'll see Davis sit. Pelkey will come in essentially to replace her position on the floor. Schloman's out there as well. That's Holly heaving from 3, and it doesn't drop. Anderson running for Centennial. She's fouled hard from behind by Sadie Dominic.
What a hit-ahead pass from Metz, who grabs that rebound and finds Anderson streaking ahead. Great pass, like she was outletting in soccer. And that's a clean play by Dominic. It's a hard fall, but Anderson with a justifiable trip to the foul line.
Hey, when you're a goalie in the modern game in soccer, you got to be able to distribute out the back a little bit.
Absolutely.
A couple of great two-sport athletes. There are several on both of these teams, as it's an empty trip to the line there for Katie Anderson. Keep this game at 28-23 Centennial. Garber lines up a tray and knocks down a big shot for the Bengals.
First player in double figures for either team. Garber, no one picked her up, so she stepped up and confidently drilled that triple.
Here come the Bengals the other way after a turnover.
Chance to tie or take the lead here.
They have trailed all night long since a 14-0 run by the Cougars to begin the game. Dominic, can she find the stroke? No.
The unfortunate part for Dominic, too, is it's not even close. She's missing badly on those threes. Now unofficially 0 for 8. No battles, but 0 for 8 from 3 is a struggle.
She had come in leading the team with 44 three-point makes. So as they say, shooters keep shooting, but it has not been the night so far for Sadie Dominic. Cougars have it. Anderson with the inbound to Marissa Frost, the junior and North Dakota State commit, who early next year is going to comfortably cross the 1,000-point threshold in her Centennial career. They work it around now to Anderson. Tries to shake off Dominic. Touches it back up to the sophomore McCall. Switch on her by Dominic. She has to find the outlet. Mets, 12 minutes to play now in the second half of the Section 7 final. Frost from 3. She leaves it short. It has not been a clinic of shooting by either team in this one. Great defense, but in particular, both teams had not really been able to find that stroke from beyond the arc. They combined in the first half for a total of 4 3-point makes on 27 attempts.
What a kick out though by Metz. Gets into the defense, somehow almost no look kicks it out. Centennial fans wanting to travel on the other man. Meanwhile, Pelkey goes down and they're gonna get a travel. That cannot make Coach Brewstuen too happy.
Pelkey kind of
she did look like she got tripped up by Tharp there.
Yeah, she had that one jab step and walked with it kind of as she got tripped up. It looked like the extended leg. So
3 second half turnovers on both teams make that 4 now for Centennial.
Garber with another steal. She gets downhill on Frost, can't finish. Nice defense by Frost. She planted her feet, held her ground, and that's going to be turned over by the Bengals, as that is just 2 really strong players going at it. Garber crashing into Frost on her way to the basket, 5'11" against 5'8" before the Bengal turnover. Been a fun matchup, and it's a tight one down the stretch. Inside 12 to play. 2-point lead for the Cougars, who've led since the start of the night. Frost on to Anderson. Back to Frost on the near side. She's shadowed by Dominic. Anderson again on the right wing. Out there with Metz. Tharps down low. Metz throws it away. Holly with the steal. Holly spinning in the lane. Lays it high off the glass for 2. And the Bengals are back level for the first time since it was 0-0 at the opening jump.
Amazing comeback as Dominic whistled for the hand check out here, which will be her second. But just amazing fortitude and resiliency from Blaine to just chip away, erase that 14-point deficit, and now they've doubled up Centennial since that time, obviously outscoring them 28-14 to tie this basketball game.
I was told there would be no math at North Branch High School.
I'm no statistician like Battles, but I do know that. I do know addition.
Here's McCall pitching it along to Walsh. North Branch High School up here. About 30 minutes, a drive up 35 to the north here, where the Section 7 final is being decided between 2 rivals. Here's Littlefield trying, can't get the shot from 3 to go. McCall off the offensive glass, and a foul gonna send her to the line after the try from Littlefield from deep.
Well, she got stripped on the way up initially, went right back to her, as you'll see here on the replay. Again, a short 3, a lot of 3s short tonight. Garber initially stripped her, and then this time it was Pelkey who reached in. Certainly looked like she may have gotten all ball, but get the benefit of the doubt, and now she'll shoot 2.
McCall is the 3rd leading scorer for the Cougars, averaging 8-8 a game. She has not scored tonight. Was 0 for 4 from the floor in the first half. Still has not attempted a shot from the field here in the second half in our book. Coming off a 8-point performance on Saturday in a semifinal win against Andover, at 15 in the quarterfinal win last week to Coon Rapids. A push here going to send this here to Bengals.
Yeah, and offensive rebound initially for Centennial. By my count, McCall is now 0 for her last 4 from the charity stripe. But a big offensive rebound and then bailed out by that foul. 3 now on Emma Walsh.
Holly has it, dribbling around through the right wing. Little teardrop pull-up. It is rebounded by Bryant after the miss from Holly.
Big offensive rebound by the smallest player on the court.
Garber has it, steps into a 3, just off to the left of the wheel, no good.
And Bryant,
oh, nearly a steal as she stripped it just ahead of our table here courtside. Nearly a takeaway here against Katie Anderson, a little loose with the basketball. Bryant kind of snuck up behind her.
And then just deflected off her hand, but Bryant with nearly a theft after no one let Anderson know she was behind her.
Team that averages 14 steals a game as a team. You got to watch out when you got the rock in your hands with the Bengals prowling the floor. Here it is fed to McCall, who breaks the drought for Centennial. Her first points of the game after an 0 for 4 start, and she's on the board.
When in doubt, go glass, and that's exactly what Autumn McCall did. And she was just in the right position, right in the middle of the lane.
Still the Bengals without a lead in this game. Garber throws it off the side of the backboard. Cougars push it up with Frost, dips it down low to Walsh. Walsh, the spinning turnaround. What a shot from Walsh as she faced up her defender and finished her first bucket of the second half, now has 6.
And a huge bucket, a little more breathing room as a cheap foul picked out on top by Katie Anderson.
A little hand check in there, going to cost number 10, the senior's 3rd personal of the game.
Chris Brewster, very agitated, very fiery, demonstrating to his team.
Now 5 team fouls on the Cougars. Holly airballs the 3. We've said that a lot tonight, not just keying in on Holly, but just from both teams, the nerves have been there, and the shot just has not been going from deep consistently from either team.
You wonder if it's the backdrop here or what, but neither team has been able to do much from distance, and there's been some real bad misses tonight in particular.
Frost, that one a little closer, but still can't get it to drop. Rebound by McCall, chucked up by Littlefield in the mid-range. Walsh was fighting for it. They say jump ball when the ball was still rattling around loose. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know either, but Maddie Bryant and Blaine will take it. I suppose they did come down to their waist with it both, but that's a pretty generous tie ball. I think it still would have been with Blaine maybe, but Walsh couldn't believe it.
Walsh with a meme face. Save that one, .gif for later. Here's Molly Garber, wheels back out of the paint. Back to Davis, she'll receive the return pass immediately. Senior leading scorer, hands it off to Sadie Dominic. Dominic gets downhill, opens a kick for Bryant. She'll take it inside, work it to the corner. Schloman, good ball movement. Schloman followed her own miss. They'll say a foul before the shot, and it's gonna be an inbound play here for the Bengals as the foul goes to Anderson of Centennial.
You know your own shot. If that's on Anderson, I think that's her 4th. It is indeed her 4th, but you know your own shot, and you could see she set off as soon as she let that go, followed it up, and Schloman's putting in some big minutes tonight for Blaine. Normally a bench player who gets some playing time. She's putting some big minutes in tonight.
Oh, Holly, lid on the rim. That rattled out on the shot around the basket.
Blaine's been stuck on 28 seemingly for the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Here comes Frost with the high post touch. McCall. Good distribution of the ball by Centennial on this side. Frost nearly lost it. She picks it up and wheels back out. 7:30 to play. Frost with a big teardrop kiss in there for the Cougars. 8 points for Marissa Frost in a huge game, the section final for Centennial.
Yeah, no player in double figures, and a travel called on Danielle Davis on the other end. Each team now with 5 turnovers in the second half. 6-0 Centennial run after the game was tied at 28.
As we said, the Blaine Bengals had been doubling up the Cougars since a 14-0 run to begin the game, about 5 minutes in. Before that, here a runner by Frost, tried to get it going that time to drop with a left hand. Frost with her first miss from inside the arc. She had gone 3 of 3 on layups and floaters around the rim. It's a double dribble going against Schloman.
I have not seen so many travels and double dribbles and whatnot called as I have tonight, as Schloman gets a well-deserved rest.
All right, so we're seeing Centennial starting to heat up and doing a much better job against the zone than we saw in the last meeting. What are you hearing, Blake?
Yeah, what's happening here is Coach Soblik, I see him on the sideline, and he's telling his ladies to spread out, create space, and that is one way to beat the zone. You can't cover as many ladies if that is happening.
Timeout taken, gonna give us a chance to catch our breath here before the final 6:44 of this girls Section 7 4A championship game. Jordan Metz with the last basket has 9 points now for Centennial. Bill, you mentioned the Cougars are getting it done without really one go-to scorer in this one. And again, Metz with some just great team basketball, finishing at the rim that time. That might be a huge X factor for Centennial tonight. We mentioned they did not have the talented junior shooter, really versatile player, great athlete, who's the soccer goalie for the Cougars last time when these two teams faced off. And Blaine did have a way to create some big challenges for Centennial with that 2-3 zone.
Yeah, they did, and it hasn't been as effective here tonight. But how about the response from Centennial? Blaine comes all the way back, ties the game for the first time at 28, and Centennial responds immediately with an 8-0 run of their own, keyed by Jordan Metz, who leads with Marissa Frost, both 9 points. But nobody in double figures yet for Centennial. The only player in double figures tonight so far, Molly Garber.
Centennial in that last game did not shoot particularly well from 3 with that zone defensive look, and we've mentioned a couple of times Metz is their best 3-point shooter in terms of percentage. So she's been big tonight, showing up, has 1 made 3 tonight, and tied for the team lead, as Bill mentioned, with 9. Here's Holly, blocked by McCall. McCall hasn't made her usual offensive contributions, but just kind of her patrolling around the rim and being that protector around the basket, so important for what the Cougars do defensively.
The coaching staff and fans very disappointed in that call, and it does look like Holly tried to save it in bounds, but it remains with the Bengals, and then a 5-second call turns it back over.
Sadie Dominic didn't get the ball in play in time, and so the Bengals cough it up. The possible missed call, a moot point now, 6:33 left to play, and an 8-point ball game with the Cougars leading it.
Who wants the ball in these pressure moments? I'm going to put my money on Marissa Frost, wanting the basketball and wanting to take those tough shots, those big shots late.
And the Cougars with the luxury to wait it out, try to find that perfect shot. Metz dribbling around the baseline, turned away by Dominic. They'll hand it off McCall. She's had the cold shooting night, just 1 of 5 from the floor. Back to Metz in the corner.
Good defense in this possession by Blaine.
Littlefield, she gets doubled. Out to Metz, fake the 3. They'll settle it back down to Marissa Frost. Inside 6 minutes left to go. Walsh finds it inside. That was a good look for Frost. Passes it up to Littlefield, who tries from beyond the arc.
And who comes away with a rebound, ripping it away from her teammate, but Maddie Bryant, who was kind of swarming all over trying to double the ball on that defensive possession.
5'6" guard, averages 3.5 a game.
Over 5 minutes since the Bengals have scored.
Here's a try from Dominic, trying to break that stretch. She can't. Offensive rebound by Davis. They wheel it back around to Garber. Kick out to Holly with good defense. She can't finish around the Cougars.
Blaine, just sometimes they just go through these long scoring droughts, whether it was the start of this game or right now, these last 5 minutes, the worst time for them to go into such a drought. And whoever wins, of course, our Blythe Whaley will have post-game sound with them.
Cougars with the big guns out on the floor here in crunch time. Inside 5 to go and trying to hang on to an 8-point lead. Whistle and a foul gonna go against the Bengals as they'll flash it up there against Maddie Bryant. Just the first for number 20. Jamie Sabalik, 4th-year head coach of Centennial, looking to pick up his 80th win tonight. It's taken the Cougars back-to-back trips to state, going through the Section 5 tournament 2 years ago, winning it via Section 7 last year for the first time as Centennial returned to that group. They had spent 14 years in a row in Section 5, so by virtue of that, Blaine and Centennial matching up in a final for the first time in 19 years. And the Cougars have dominated this rivalry series in recent history, but Blaine upended them the last time on February 14th. Here's Dominic trying again from 3, in and out. Davis couldn't pull down the rebound. Hitting the floor is Metz. That's going to lead to a tie-up, and the possession arrow here favoring the Cougars.
8th turnover of the half on Blaine. Dominic close. Every loose ball being contested. And what did Blythe tell us about what Coach Brewstuen said? It's going to be the 50-50 balls that are going to determine this game.
Pitch it up in a hurry. McCall can't finish in transition. Cougars elect to go for the quick bucket. They draw the foul, however, and it's going to stay with Centennial after a push on Davis.
Team 6, so just one away from shooting the bonus. Daniel Davis playing on that bum ankle.
That was the first on Davis. Oh, Bryant nearly forced the steal. Frost able to spin away. Retouches back up with Walsh.
She creates such frenetic energy out there, doesn't she?
Bryant is out there going one speed, and it's top gear.
And she gets called for the block net foul there, just her second. But she's trying to force the action. She's trying to slow this game down, extend the number of possessions, whether that's committing fouls or getting steals ideally. And she's just moves her feet so well as a leadoff hitter and base stealer in softball. And like you said, she just has an engine for days.
Going to be taking her talents, as we said, to be a distance runner at the next level. Concordia St. Paul. Frost knocks down the opening free throw here. Up to shoot a pair now for Centennial. That will put Frost into double digits. First Centennial player to reach 10 here tonight. She has got 11. That is her 27th game in 29 in double figures for the Cougars this year.
10-0 Centennial run after Blaine had tied the game at 28.
Blaine have not led at any point in the contest. A block on Bryant by Metz. And they'll say jump ball. Will they keep it here on this end of the floor?
And I think that's probably the right call. I mean, you could argue she hit her hand, but she definitely got ball with the hands. So they've called a lot of jump balls tonight, and that's another one as we have a timeout on the court.
To me, that's not a tie-up. That's just a block.
Yeah.
But it's been a consistent whistle called that way.
Well, they've just been very quick with the jump balls called tonight all night.
3:38 left to go here in the second half. It is a 10-point game. Yeah, we'll say that. They have been consistently calling this a jump ball. To me, that's just block, play on.
I agree.
It would have just, it switches the possession arrow rather than just being.
But who are we to argue with
here.
a bald ref, you know? The shaved head ref look, it's very, very strong. What do you think Chris Brewstuen is saying to his troops in the huddle?
Well, Blaine looking to answer back, and they're looking for a big bucket. I mean, Bill, we talked about it. The first 5 or 6 shots for the Bengals to start the evening were all from 3. Well had dried up there. The Bengals were at their best when they were getting to the basket, right? Draw something up, get Garber to the rim, maybe settle for a kick-out 3 if they build the wall down low.
Yeah, we don't know officially what this drought is, but it's nearing the 7.5, 8-minute mark now, and that may be the story of the game right there. Is not only the 14-0 run to start things, but the 10-0 run once Blaine had crawled back into it, clawed back into it, and Bengals need a couple quick hitters to have any chance of coming back in this one.
Neither team's been shooting the lights out. I think crawled back into it might be an apt phrase for the way that Centennial have taken command. It's been a defensive slugfest.
And how about the defense that Frost has played on Garber tonight?
Here's a try from 3. Mara Holly too strong. Again, the three's just not fallen from either team.
And Metz has come up with some huge rebounds, including that one right there.
Littlefield holds, sends it on to Frost. Just over 3 minutes left to play. 10-point edge for the Cougars, looking to punch their ticket to the state tournament for a 3rd consecutive season. And what for the Cougars would be their 10th state tournament appearance in school history. Their best finish, a 2009 Class 4A runner-up finish. Molly Garber nearly laid out to force a steal. Smart play by Littlefield to leave it and let it roll off of Garber's fingertips and out.
Yeah, meanwhile, Cougars just content to play keep away. Blaine almost looking to foul, trying to extend this game.
Here is Frost working it back out to Littlefield. Skip pass to Metz, who feeds it down low, and a foul on McCall. is going to send the Cougars to the line here to shoot 1-1 as they are in the single bonus. Now 8 team fouls for the Bengals, so still 1 to give before it is a double bonus situation. That'll be the second against Davis.
Autumn McCall has struggled from the foul line tonight, so maybe the right person to foul in this instance. Of course, as I say that, she rolls one in.
Got a little friendly roll there, but sometimes all it takes is to see one go in and go on a little roll here. Centennial, they moved them back to Section 7 last year. We mentioned it. They have dominated this group, not just Blaine. They were 17-0 against the field until Blaine beat them back on February the 14th. They finished out this year, including the 2 section playoff wins. Since rejoining Section 7, the Cougars are 21-1 the last 2 years against the teams that they face in the playoffs and in the regular season to get to the playoffs in Section 7 4A.
Without having section results of other sections in front of us, that's got to be about as dominant a run as you can have, or as that has been had in the state. So Centennial definitely the ones to beat in Section 7 Class 4A.
It has really added some extra juice to this Centennial Blaine rivalry of 2 border foes. Schloman has not seen a shot go in here in this game. That one knocks out of bounds. We'll send it down to Blythe Whaley on the sideline.
Got to listen in on that last time out for the Cougars, and what Coach Soblik was telling his ladies is to make sure they don't allow any 3-point shots up for the Bengals. But also these final 3 minutes, or now 2 minutes and 11 seconds, they just need to play tough defense, making sure that they are not allowing anything.
Thanks, Blythe. Good insight. Right, and Bill, we were talking about it. Blaine have looked at their best when they're getting to the rim tonight, but they are not going to be afforded that luxury. Time running out. They're going to have to start making some shots from deep.
Yeah, no doubt. Centennial being very patient on the offensive end. Not trying to build on this lead, but just trying to hold the ball and make smart decisions and take care of the ball. Finally, Holly comes out and fouls Frost, but yeah, the story of the second half is, as much as Blaine did a nice job erasing the 6-point deficit and tying this game, that was kind of it offensively for them after that.
Frost, one of the better free throw shooters on the Cougars. In fact, leads the team, hitting them at an 82% rate, knocks down the first so far this evening in the section final. She's been 3 of 3, make it 4 of 4. Money for Marissa Frost, the junior, headed to NDSU, the D1 commit. There's Garber, jump ball again. Consistent whistle. We maybe don't fully agree with it, but they're calling it the same way consistently tonight, and that's a jump ball.
Yeah, I'd like to see maybe a few more pump fakes, more shot fakes, because I think people are timing up the blocks really well, and they charge. They've been consistent about that as well. And again, a call that we may not agree with, Matt, but they've been pretty consistent as Garber absorbs the contract from Frost, who kind of leaned in, and Garber throws herself back, draws the charge. 13-0 run, like we said, since this game was tied at 28.
That's the second against Frost. Keeps the possession here in the Blaine end. Dominic's going to have to start hitting it, and she continues to be ice cold from deep. Another miss from 3. McCall strips it away here for Centennial.
Even Garber missing bunnies in close, and you just have to feel like maybe the fatigue of Blaine. It almost feels like, Matt, that Blaine, in their efforts to come back and kind of claw their way back into this game, once they got to 28, it's like the fatigue really set in, and then they just couldn't get it over the hump from there. And it's been all Centennial ever since, as the Cougars will advance to yet another state tournament in their program history.
Well, we talk about it a lot, right? Garber's a great player. She scores 13 tonight, but when you face a team like Centennial, who can run deep into their bench, have a lot of high-level scores, they can afford to not have the best night from Autumn McCall, who just hit that last free throw there. If you're Blaine, you need a consistent second scorer, and it's been a cold shooting night for the supporting cast around Garber, and that has largely been the difference as Centennial are flexing their muscles late here, sending Sadie Dominic to the line with that last foul.
Well, how poetic, right, Matt? Because Centennial starts the game on a 14-0 run, then Blaine, 28-14 run of their own, ties it at 28. And Centennial, before this Sadie Dominic free throw, had gone on a 14-0 run to regain a 14-point lead. And ultimately, that'll be enough as Dominic finally scores the first Blaine point in the last 9 minutes.
And Dominic will settle, going just 1 for 2, still without a field goal, though, for that stretch of over 10 minutes. Cougars getting a little bit of revenge for when Blaine held them without a point for over 10 minutes in the last matchup. Cougars turn it over. I wouldn't say a crucial spot given the game situation, but that puts a little bit of wind back into the sails of Chris Bruce-Stewin's Bengals. They'll call the timeout here.
Well, if they can get a bucket and then a steal, and then who knows from there, but obviously it's looking like an uphill climb. But I really do think, Matt, that a lot of the momentum, and Blaine just spent so much energy just coming back that took it out a lot out of him.
Centennial on the precipice of reaching their 3rd straight state tournament. We'll send it down to Blythe Whaley over on the sideline.
Coach Sobolik making sure his ladies are ready for that double team. You know that the Bengals are going to be coming at them, and how can they make sure they are finding those openings to find each other, to move that basketball, to not get trapped in the double team.
So
Thanks,
yeah,
Blythe.
a pair of 14-0 runs, really the defining story of this game. And it could be what propels Centennial in a pretty low-scoring game to their 3rd consecutive state tournament.
It would also be the
section title.
4th in the last 5 years for Jamie Sobolik and the Cougars. What a run it has been. He has now in the 4th season as the head coach and been around Centennial a long time. Cougars with a great program, and a runner by Dominic going to be knocked out of bounds. Last off of Dominic's fingertips. 1 minute and 7 seconds left to go, and it's Cougar basketball.
I will say for Dominic, you cannot see her struggles on her face. She is continuing to play and play hard, and there's no body language issues with her. She has not shown the frustration that you might associate with someone who has not scored up to their level of expectation. 20-second timeout taken by Centennial here, but less than a minute to go. And Centennial, and I wonder, Matt, what you think of this, but you look at Frost and Metz, and Maddie Skolicki hasn't played tonight, but she's on the team. How much does their success in soccer as well feed into their level of calm and performance on a stage like this? Not only have they been performing in a basketball sense, but they've been here in a basketball sense and on the soccer pitch. They've had success on both levels, and so I think that just feeds into the confidence, the sense of calm, the sense of poise on a massive stage like this with this much stakes at stake.
Absolutely, right? The volleyball team going to state last fall as well, too. You put on that Cougar C, especially on the girls' side, and there is an expectation you're going to be playing in big games late into March, late into the fall, early winter, in the fall sports season for the soccer and volleyball programs. And absolutely, the cooler heads prevailing. We definitely saw some nerves from Blaine early, and the stoic Marissa Frost and the Cougars have come in and executed on the big stage here in the section final.
Frost now an impressive 5 for 5 in the last 2 minutes from the charity stripe, and this free throw would give them the largest lead of the game.
It is not her loudest performance of the season in terms of points, but cold-blooded, 15 points. Those last 5, as Bill mentioned, all coming from the free throw line, now 6. And a terrific performance leading the Cougars in scoring here, and really taking good care of the basketball as well, too, once the Cougars have been able to get it in the half court. Littlefield able to pass out of the double. 30 seconds left to go. Frost will dribble away from the pressure from Garber. It looks like the Bengals are essentially backing off. They're not going to foul. And now the Cougar fans can feel it here at North Branch High School as Centennial have all but punched their ticket to the barn, and they are going to be playing at the state tournament for a 3rd straight season as champions at a Section 7 girls 4A. The Centennial Cougars are going to go on to top the Blaine Bengals in the section final.
Congratulations to the Cougars. 3rd straight Section 7 Class 4A title, and certainly well-deserved. And again, Matt, it's that 14-0 run to start the game and the 14-0 run midway through the second half. And that was the difference in the game, and that's the reason the Cougars are moving on to the state tournament.
Stick around for our coverage here on North Metro TV. We're going to have the awards of both the runner-up and section title medals and trophies, and post-game interviews with some of the standout players of this one. Centennial punched their ticket to state, 44-29 the final over rivals Blaine here in the Section 7 Girls 4A Final.
To Sophia and Gabriel. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back into North Branch High School. The announcements and awards of the runner-up and section gold medal trophies being announced. We'll send it down to the public address announcer here at North Branch for the awards of tonight's individual medals to first the runners-up Blaine, and then following the section champion Centennial.
Support throughout the season and in this final game. The second place medals are awarded to the Blaine Bengals. Athletes, when your name is read, please come forward to receive your medal. Marley Jansen. Anna Beckman. Annika Schloman. Rosie Rakuski. Abby Pelkey. Natty Berry. Sorry if I messed up your name. Madison Bryant. Molly Garber. Sadie Dominic. Bella Bruce Tewin. Savannah Schmitz. Mara Hawley. Danielle Davis. Student managers, Emily Tran. And Jocelyn Jackson. Assistant coaches, McKenna Pearson. Rick Swanson. And head coach, Chris Rutuzin. Bruce Tewin. Will the captains of Blaine please come forward to receive your Section 7 4A runner-up trophy. Congratulations, Blaine Bengals. Championship medals will be awarded to the Centennial Cougars. Athletes, when your name is read, please come forward to receive your first place medal. Maddie Skalicki. Megan Stacy. Kate Lee. Katie Anderson. Macy Littlefield. Marissa Frost. Aspen Gray. Megan Sklicki. Sienna Tommerdahl. Emma Walsh. Sydney Sears. Autumn McCall. Sydney Schmitz. Molly Munson. Jordan Metz. Claire Pullman. KJ Tharp. And Caitlin Peterson. Student Manager Emma Thompson. Assistant Coaches Danielle Edwards. Jermaine Wiley. And Head Coach Jamie Sobolik. Now, with the captains of Centennial, please come forward to accept your championship trophy. The quarterfinal games of the Class 4A State Girls Basketball Tournament will be held at Williams Arena on Wednesday, March 15th. Teams will be placed in state brackets on Saturday, March 11th. Congratulations to Centennial and best of luck in your state tournament run.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Back inside North Branch High School, the Cougars winning it 44-29 to punch their ticket to the state tournament for a third consecutive season and back-to-back years as Section 7 4A champions. They do it, topping rivals Blaine here in the section final. Back here at North Branch, Matt Dean alongside Bill Hupp. We've got Blythe Whaley waiting in the wings to talk to a couple of the stars of the game, including chatting with the top scorers for the champion Cougars, Frost and Jordan Metz, down on the floor.
Thanks, Matt. Yeah, alongside me, Marissa Frost and Jordan Metz. And Marissa, getting to watch you tonight, of course, your third year on varsity. Now, help your team to a third straight state tournament. How does it feel to be able to help your team contribute in this way?
It's really nice. I mean, our goal is always to get to the state tournament, so when we could do it, it's just really fun. And to be able to be one of the people that helps get there, it's just super fun.
So let's rewind to the beginning of this game. You guys got out to a 14-0 start. What maybe it got you guys juiced up? How did you prepare for this game that maybe it helped you jump out to that lead?
Two of the freshmen in the locker room gave us our pep talk on the whiteboard, and they kind of drew they mapped everything out, and we did it all, and we came out with fire.
That's awesome. And you had to take on Molly Garber on the Bengals, and she was coming into this game. The last 4 games, she averaged 21 points, and you held her to 12. How difficult was it guarding her out there on the court?
It was pretty hard. I just wanted to make sure that I stayed out of foul trouble. I didn't want to have 2 fouls quick, and I just wanted to be in the game. So,
it's your junior season, so you'll get to be back here for another year for Cougar basketball. But what does it mean to you to be able to help punch that ticket for the seniors on your team to be able to enjoy this with them?
Yeah, it's just really nice. I've known them for a while now, and we've become closer, so I do not want our season to end with them.
Well, awesome contribution to your team, putting in 12, doing what you needed to do to help the Cougars advance. Great job.
Thank you.
Another junior here on the Cougars, Jordan Metz. Jordan, we talk about you so much on the soccer field. It's been a pleasure watching you on the basketball court this season. But Jordan, as we talk about state tournaments for the Cougars in basketball, 3rd straight year, but you think about how much you've been there for Cougars soccer. What does it mean to continue with this team here to the basketball state tournament?
It means a lot. It shows like Centennial is just such a good program and all, and we have confidence in each other and we play great. So yeah.
And you think about your absence there in the Cougars' loss against the Bengals this season. What does it mean to be able to beat them both times when you had your presence on the court?
It means a lot. I mean, we have fight in us, and yeah.
And when you think about the state tournament, what types of things are going through your head? You've been there in so many ways. Did you learn anything from state tournaments that you're going to bring to this one?
Yeah, just no matter the seed, anyone can win. The underdog can always pull through. So be confident in who the team is, and we'll do great.
Something specific about this game, you guys were tied 28-28 there in the second half. How did you guys stay composed, and maybe what was Coach Soblik telling you guys to be able to push this one through?
Just stay focused. If we play our game, we're a lot better, so yeah.
Well, you guys, congrats. Enjoy the victory, and you are back in the state tournament. Way to go.
Thank you.
Back to you, Matt, to wrap up this fantastic performance from our Cougars.
Thanks, Blythe. Alongside Bill Hupp, Matt Dean back here as we tie a bow on this one here in the Section 7 4A Girls Championship. And really, story of the game, you heard Blythe talk to it with Marissa Frost and Jordan Metz, Bill, the way that Centennial came to play with that experienced couple of juniors there who have already been to a pair of state tournaments. They came out ready to play and ultimately responded to a Blaine run when they outscored the Cougars 28-14 after the 14-zip start.
Yeah, 14-0 start. Blaine scores 28 to tie it at 28, 28-14 run of their own to tie it at 28. Just kind of chipped away at the lead, and the credit to the Bengals for having that resiliency and being able to close the gap. But then once they got it to 28, they just really couldn't get it over the hump. They could never take the lead, and Centennial responds right away, goes on a 14-0 run and an immediate 6-0 run out of a timeout, and that was it. And then the Cougars just kind of played keep away, hit their free throws late with Marissa Frost going 6 for 6 from the line. She led the team with 15 points tonight. She's been the leader all season, the NDSU commit for the Cougars. And the Cougars, Matt, they just played with the kind of poise that you expect in a tight game, the kind of poise you expect from a team that has won their 3 straight section titles now. And they're a team that just has that veteran savvy, and they make it back to another state tournament.
Centennial, great program, 3rd in a row, 4th in the last 5 years. They're headed to the barn again, where they will take part in next week's state quarterfinals on Wednesday. From Bill Hupp, from myself, Matt Dean, from Blythe Whaley on the sideline, Ted LaRue, John Chenard, our entire North Metro TV crew on hand here from North Branch High School. We'll say so long. A cat clash in the section final goes to the Cougars, who take it over rivals Blaine by the final 44-29 here at North Branch.